So, Daryl, we're here for another walk through a park, and this time we're at Brannan Park. And Brannan has got quite a history with our city. Now, this area around here was kind of like what they used to call a prairie. And a prairie in Northwest was an area that didn't have too many trees on it. And it was settled in the middle 1850s by a couple of brothers, William and Joseph. They were actually killed in the Indian Wars. Now, there's a monument to Auburn slaughter, and the Lieutenant Slaughter, where the Army fort used to be up around where Auburn Way is now. And these folks developed the area and then sold out for another farm, and it was became part of our park system in 1966.
That's right.
You know the significance to that. Prior to 1966, really the city limits for Auburn was about maybe 6th Street on the north and 6th on the south. And they did this huge annexation of what was then King County lands, and then they had to develop parks. But look at this, 26 acres, is that about right?
Yeah, we have exactly 26 acres, and as you mentioned, it was deeded in 1966 to the city, and we've had the opportunity to develop a lot of amenities in this park. And behind us right now is our skate park. That was dedicated in 1999 and is extremely popular, and today we happen to have one of our summer skate camps going on, so there's a lot of little boarders using their helmets and learning how to skate. And the park also features 4 baseball diamonds that are used a lot by the school district, by the Little League Association, by our city Parks and Rec. And then we overlay 2 soccer football fields as well. And this year we're going to be adding lights to a 3rd field, so we'll be able to take this land and use it even a little more for its recreational purposes. And there's a walking path throughout the whole park, and it also connects to the Green River Trail portion that is done, and hopefully in the future we'll be able to link our portion of the Green River Trail to the rest of the Green River Trail to the north. So this is a great park, and the neighbors use it heavily, as well as the community at large.
They sure do. Well, let's go for a walk in the park.
Great.
This year, thanks to your guys, I got to practice throwing the first pitch, so I didn't bounce the ball. Now, when I went up to the state championships up at
Sunset Park,
bounced that ball right in front of home plate, but I'm getting better.
Well, we got to keep you playing during the season a little more.
I know.
But you know, when they have that jamboree here, there's tons of kids and their parents, and it seems to always be a rainy day in March.
And you know, it's just
they're here.
It's amazing because you can't see ground anywhere around here because there's so many kids and their parents, you know, and they're all proud. They're all clapping and applauding, and they have such a great time. What an event to have here in Auburn.
Well, we have a really successful Parks and Rec program and a great cooperation with the Little League, and together I think every child has an opportunity to learn how to play baseball or softball.
And then we've got another piece that's right over by the river, don't we?
The trail system.
Let's go over there.
Let's go over there.
Okay, so this is part of the Green River Trail?
It is.
But it's part of Brannan Park.
It's a leg of the Green River Trail in all of Brannan Park, and it's on the dike of the river.
So where does it end on the north end?
Well, right now this segment goes to probably about another mile north towards Kent, and then it has about a mile gap until by Carpenito Brothers, where there's a new segment. So there's some missing gaps, but eventually it'll all link, and it'll take you all the way into Tukwila and Renton, where it links with the Interurban Trail and the trails of Burt-Gilman Trail around Lake Washington. So this is a key segment of off-road. You're not on any roads. It's a great place to take your child. But right now, this is probably about a 2-mile segment.
And we need to do a little connection down at the south end. We can take care of that.
Oh, we would love to connect both
But right
ends.
now, you can walk, or you can ride a bicycle, have a conversation, be right on the river with ducks going by like they are right now. And I know there's some pretty good-sized fish in that river.
I know you know there's
fish in there. Got to have a license.
Yes.
But it's a heck of a place to catch some really neat salmon or steelhead, and just go for a walk. Or, like I do, go on your bicycle. Now, I'll take off from the south end of town, go down the interurban out to 272nd, come down through here, get on this trail, and head all the way down to Dykstra, and then go across and pedal out to the golf course.
That's right.
Just to take a break before I get back on my bike again. What a way to spend an afternoon.
That is a great loop, and from this park you can go over the little Dykstra footbridge, which is a great little neighborhood park, and connect into Isaac Evans Park on the other side of the river. So we're directly across from Isaac Evans Park and the Auburn Golf Course.
So I can see the people over there, and I can see the golf course as well through the trees. Matter of fact, I can see the golfers through the trees.
Golfers.
That's pretty neat. And this is a beautiful area. We've got the trail. We've got the diamonds for baseball.
Four baseball diamonds.
We've got the soccer fields.
Yeah.
And then back through this area, we've got all these trees and shaded areas and places for people to have picnics. And I see that there's another path here. This just for maintenance?
Yeah, that's just for maintenance, but also links into a neat feature where there's a stormwater detention pond right behind us here that runs parallel to this pond, so that we didn't have to build a big, ugly storm vault, but actually are infiltrating the waste from this park into the stormwater of Brandon Park.
So this whole side behind the dike really acts as a portion of a stormwater filtration system that takes care of our neighborhoods to keep them safe, without having one of those ugly rectangular boxes I don't like very much.
That's right. As a parks director, I don't appreciate it much either.
I
When
would think so.
actually do it like we did here, and at Mill Pond Park that we visited last year was a great example of the city using park space to have more than one purpose.
That's right. Well, here we are at Rotary Park, high up on the hill.
That's right.
And this one has got its own history as well. I had people talk to me and say there wasn't a lot to this park, but it really was, because prior to 1966, 1964, that area, this was all just woods. Matter of fact, at the time that this was starting to be conceived, that's one of these neighborhoods all around this area we're going in. There was no road going up the hill. Remember, it was the old Auburn Enumclaw Road, which we called Howard Road, coming up the hill.
Okay.
Or and Riverwalk, all that area through there. All that was the main way that you got to Enumclaw. And the big road didn't come in until another 10 or 15 years after that. This whole series of communities on either side of Dogwood were built and put in. The refuse from that building was dumped in here, covered up with dirt, capped off, so to speak, and then later on it was developed into a park by the Rotary Club. And the Rotary Club, I understood, kept on taking care of the park and being involved, and then there's a series of events that have taken place here recently with one of these older parks as well. So what's taking place now?
Well, the Rotary annually has come to help clean up the park, but this year, as one of their service projects, they actually funded a brand new playground. And so I believe in early June they came out and worked on building the playground. And then we also got a scout project involved, and the local neighbors. There's probably 300 new plants planted throughout the park, all Northwest Native landscape that the community came out. And that's been our theme in almost all of our walk through the parks. It seems like the community and service clubs and city get together and get something good done. So this is a brand new play toy here at Rotary Park. So it's been spruced up. This year we also added an irrigation system to the park so that it stays green year around. And we can just see the kids coming back out of the neighborhood to use their park. So it's really exciting.
As it was getting ready to start for the Rotary project, I kept on getting email after email after email from the community saying, when is it going to take place? When is it going to take? We want to be out there. We want to help. And I seem to remember there was a little problem with the weather, too.
Oh, man, the day we built this, it was a June day that had to be 40 degrees and pelting rain. And then the next weekend when we came back for the plants and to complete the play toy, it had to be in the low 90s.
Oh,
it was
boy.
the biggest, I think, change in a week of weather that you could have, but didn't stop anybody from getting a lot of hard work done with a little sweat equity. So it was good.
The Rotary Club is to be congratulated, and the neighborhood as well for a job very well done. This is a beautiful setting right in the middle of really intense residential development. They have to be proud of the efforts here.
And this park is also spotted with just some picnic tables throughout and a half-court basketball. I see a gentleman down there shooting around right now. And hopefully at some point we'll get a little walking trail around it as well. It's about a half-mile loop.
That would be great for the community to be able to come around, walk around the park. I know in some of our other areas where we've done that, that really has been an asset to the park.
Yeah. Fitness walking is very popular, especially when a parent can see their child at the same time. It's a great park for
always when
that.
they can see that.
That's right.
All right. What a great park. Well, another great park. Now, this one is just full of history. We're talking about this is Veterans Memorial Park. Now, this started off in 1924 when out of a bond issue with the county, This area was purchased from the Fawcett family, and it was, when it was completed, hailed as the largest and most scientifically engineered latest developments into a city park, and it was called City Park. Now, about 1966, it started changing again, and it had some features that were added to it over the years. The biggest feature that used to be a part of this park was a rather large locomotive that used to be right over on the far side. And that locomotive was one of the last engines that went through our rail yard when this was the headquarters and the big yard for pretty much the Pacific Northwest for Burlington Northern. And when the yard closed down, they brought that locomotive there, but we lost all the engineers, all the people that know how to maintain them. So we finally were able to get a group to take it out and restore it so that one day maybe we can hope to have it come down the tracks again. Beautiful machine. Going on with that, have you heard the story about the squirrels?
No, but I see a lot of squirrels in this park and around Auburn, so I've been waiting to hear this story.
You know, there's a lot to that. We had a groundskeeper years ago, and he was fascinated by the gray squirrels on the eastern side of the state, because the only thing we had over here were red squirrels. So one time he went over to the eastern side, and he trapped and caught several pairs, naturally, of squirrels and brought them over here. And he thought they were cute, and they got loose. And you don't see very many red squirrels in western Washington. That's the reason. And if you walk across the street over there, you'll see a wooden monument to the gray squirrel brought by our groundskeeper to western Washington.
Well, sitting here, I'm seeing lots of squirrels running around.
All over the place. And then we went through another reiteration. Now, you see there's a Nike missile there, and there's an old howitzer, and this has always had some military equipment in it. And then our community got together about 15 years ago to look at putting together a monument for those who have served and fallen who came from Auburn. And they built that monument out of private donations. And as a matter of fact, part of the cost of it was paid for by people purchasing bricks.
That's right.
And there's a brick to my father over there in that little memorial as well. And while all that was going on, we had this wonderful new memorial. And we had an old building here that was built many years ago. And we got to looking at that. And then one of our service organizations came along, the Foreign Legion, American Legion, right. Not the Foreign Legion. And as I'm a member of the American Legion,
don't get that
I have to get that one right. And they decided they wanted to partner with us. And then, as you know, I've been working on veterans issues.
That's right.
Throughout the county, and we talked to Veterans Affairs and said, how about putting people down here to help our veterans instead of trying to get them to go to Seattle, which, as far as many of them are concerned, could be another country.
Yes, difficult to get to.
Difficult to say the least. So now we've got a brand new office that's paid for by King County Veteran Affairs, and we've got the post for the American Legion. We've got a brand new building, and I love how you've developed that with those firehouse doors that can be open during the summer.
Well, Mayor, similar to the building that was really spent some time and needed replacement, we had an old playground here that was kind of decrepit and wasn't meeting all the new safety standards.
Oh,
so it was
I remember.
One of our Clean Sweep projects one year, the Kiwanis came along and said, man, we'd love to partner with the city and get this built. So we have a great red, white, and blue playground here that's used by the neighbors around here, as well as Auburn's original spray park. Nothing like what we have at Let's Go.
But that's a spray park.
It's a spray park, and it's locomotive themed. It works, and
well, if it's working, you know what? We're just going to have to check that out. Let's go
find a button.
Take a try.
Let's see if we can. I'd recommend you stand under this one, Mayor.
No, I'd recommend
push the button.
I recommend that I don't stand under that.
There you
go.
But
let's take a try. Let's see that one.
There you go.
Right.
It's filling up the pipes.
So there's one here too, right?
Yeah. Whoa! Hey, you missed that.
It works. I can tell that one works.
Yeah, so it's really a lot of fun. Kind of a dry area and a wet area in a beautiful. It's about a 7-acre park, and gets used by just people coming down to play some basketball or set up their own volleyball net. It's really a passive, no coordinated sports fields or anything. Just a place for a family to come and enjoy a leisure evening or weekend day.
And then you've got another feature of this park as well that's over on the far side. Now, what's that about? Because people drive by it, and I don't think there's 1 in 1,000 that knows what it is.
Yeah, you know, there's an idea garden over there is what it's called, and it's where our horticulture division has worked with the community on planting Northwest native plants, and they're all labeled. And if you're looking for the right species to put in your backyard based on sun or shade, etc., that would be the place to go look and look at those placards and say, this is the type of plant that I would love to have in my yard. So it's probably about an acre, and a little less than an acre in size, located just due south of the new Veterans Memorial Building, and that's a great place to visit.
And that's also where the sculpture to the squirrel is.
The sculpture to the squirrel is
and
right there.
You can't miss that one.
No.
Because that's right in the middle of that place. What a beautiful place you have here. Listen to it, right in the middle of the day. We're right off Auburn Way. We're at one of the busiest junctions that we have.
It still
and
sounds like nature.
you can hear the sounds of the squirrels and the birds. What a beautiful place. Well, I think it's time to take a walk through the park.
There you go.